Hello, Bronx Middle School Math. We are doing lesson 10 and 11 practice problems, okay? So let's get started. Miss Tharp's big math test is on Friday, January 22nd. This is nonfiction, okay? Our test is next week. So good thing you're watching this video so that you can do really well on the exam. Anyway, so below is a line plot representing the amount of hours Miss Tharp's students spent studying for the test. Okay, how many total students are there? This is a pretty simple question. All we have to do is count the X's. Each X represents one scholar. So let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 total students. I apologize. That is my rice cooker in the back. I like a good, beans and rice for dinner type diet kind of gal. So that is my rice cooker. I apologize. So anyway, there are 13 total students. So we can see here, if I dissect this line plot, I can see that there were 2 students who studied 2.5 hours each. So one student, 2.5, another scholar, 2.5. There were 2 students who did 3 hours in this column. So 3 hours, 3 hours. Okay. So that's how we read a line plot. We see how many scholars or students are in each category. So for the 2.5 category, there are 2 students. So 2 students studied 2.5 hours each. Okay, let's go into the next section. How many total hours were spent studying? Okay, that question, it's going to require some work. So we need to find, this is our game plan. We are going to find the amount in each category and then add them all up. So we're going to find out how many hours are in each category and then add them up at the end. Well, Ms. Tharp, how do we do that? Simple. We are going to take the number of students and multiply it by the category. So 2.5 hours. So 2 students, so number of hours, so number of students multiplied by the number of hours in each category. So we're going to do, for this category, we would do 2 students times 2.5 hours. And then for this category, we would do 3 times, oh, I need to switch my order so that we stick. 2 students times 3 hours. And we do that all the way through. So let me clean up and zoom out. Okay. So I'm going to label these. That way, y'all know what I'm talking about and know what I'm referencing. So category A. How many students are there? There are 1, 2. Okay, so we have 2 students that study 2.5 hours each. So we're going to do 2 times 2.5. All right. Now, this is pretty simple because we could just do 2.5 plus 2.5, which would be 4 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 5. Or we could do 2 times 2, and then 2 times 1/2. Whoop. So there are many ways that we can solve for that. Okay, let's go on to B. So we know the total for category A, the total amount of hours spent studying for category A was 5. Category B. How many students were there? There's 2 students in category B, and they each studied 3 hours, so 6. Okay, pretty simple. That one was good because there were no fractions, so that one was easy to deal with. Okay, category C. 1, 2, 3 students. 3 students that studied 3.5 hours each. So 3 times 3 equals 9. 3 times a half equals 3 over 2. That is an improper fraction, which reduces to 1 and 1/2. So the total amount spent in C was 10 and 1/2. So let's write that down. Okay, D. We got 1, 2. I'm going to circle the final ones so that when we come back, it'll be easy. Okay, so we have, in category D, we have 2 students that studied 4 hours each. And that one's easy again, whole number, 8. Whoop, wrong color. Y'all know I like to be color-coded and keep everything uniform. Okay, E. We had 1, 2, 3 students that studied 4.5 hours each. So 3 times 4 equals 12, and then 3 times 1/2 equals 3 over 2, which equals 1 and 1/2. So our total is going to be 13 and 1/2. Okay, now F. Well, F is pretty easy. Look at that. We don't have to multiply. It's just 5 because there is, I'll do it just in case. F has 1 student that studied 5 hours, which is 5. Okay, so now to find out the total amount of hours spent studying, we are going to add all of the red numbers. That will give us the total because right now, 5 is the total for category A. And then 5 is also the total for category F, or 13.5 is the total for category E. So we are going to add up all of the category totals to get the overall total. So let's write these down. 5 plus 6 plus 10.5 plus 8 plus 13.5 plus 5. All right, let's go ahead, write those down. So when we add up each category total, we get 48 hours. That was the total amount studied for the entire class. So if there are 13 students in the entire class as a whole spent 48 hours studying. So I blacked out this next question because it's irrelevant to this unit and what we're learning. But the next one asks, how many students spent less than 4 hours studying? So let's go to our chart. Spent less than 4 hours studying. So we're going to be focusing on which students are not here because that includes 4. It asks for less than. So how many students spent less than 4 hours studying? Let's count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 students spent less than 4 hours studying. So let's go write it down. All right, that one was pretty simple because it was friendly fractions, right? Halves are pretty easy to deal with. Let's get into something a bit spicier. I'm gonna just delete all this work. Meow. Okay. And again, I'm gonna black out the irrelevant question to this unit. So this one should go pretty quickly since we already did the first one. How many total glasses are there? We just count the X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 glasses. How many total liters are there? So we are going to find the total for each category, and then we're going to add up each category. So let's go to category A. I'll label these B, C. Okay, category A. There are, so 1x represents 1 glass. 1, 2, 3. 3 glasses, and what is the category amount? 1/8. 1/8 of a liter. And that is going to equal 3/8. Okay, not bad. That one was pretty simple. Category B. There are 1, 2, 3 glasses with 1/4 of a liter each, because 1/4 right there. And that will equal 3 times 1, 3. And then remember, when we're multiplying whole numbers, there's a 1 under there. 1 can go into 3 times, so that simplifies into 3. Do not do 3/3, because that equals 1, which is the same as 7/7, 8/8. All those equal 1. The reason why we do 3/1 is because 1 can go into 3 times. 3/3 is the same as saying 3 divided by 3, which equals 1. If I were to do 1 times 1/4, it would equal 1/4. How can I have 1/4 of a liter when I have 3 glasses with 1/4 each? That's impossible. So that is why we do 3/1 times 1/4. And we get 3/4. If you're not comfortable multiplying fractions, definitely add them. Look, we get the same answer. 1/8 plus 1/8. That's the same thing. The common denominator is there, so it's easy. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Boom. Okay. Let's go into C. With C, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 1/2. And that's going to be 4 times 1 equals 4/2, which can reduce into 2, a whole number. Remember, if you don't feel comfortable multiplying fractions, do 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. And I get 4/2, which goes into 2. So I forgot to put the totals over. Okay, so now to find the total of liters, I'm going to add each category total. So 3/8 plus 3/4 plus, I put equal, plus 2. So I'm going to get a mixed number. So it's going to be 2 and the fraction. So let's figure out 3/8 plus 3/4. Now, to add fractions, I need a common denominator. What would be the easiest common denominator for 3/8 plus 3/4? In one of my classes, I had a scholar say 32 because 8 times 4. Yeah, that works. I had another scholar that said 8 times 2 and 4 times 4. That would give me 16. That's a common denominator as well. Well, I can beat both of those. I got a common denominator that's the easiest. 8. If I do 8, I don't have to manipulate this first fraction. I would only need to manipulate 3/4. And I can manipulate it by just multiplying it by 2. 2 over 2. And I now am adding 3/8 plus 6/8. And I got 9/8. That was easy because I only had to manipulate one fraction. Remember, work hard and smart. So 9/8 is an improper fraction. So not 8 can go into 9 one time, and we're left with 1/8. So 2 was the total that we haven't worked with yet. So 1 1/8 plus 2 equals 3 1/8. That is the total amount of liters. Total liters. All right. This next problem, whew, it's going to be a lot. But you know what? We can do it. We can do it. So the strength of an earthquake is measured on a scale of 0 to 6. And I know y'all know this because I'm also your science teacher. We were going over natural disasters. We can use the Richter or the Mercalli scale. I know we know about earthquakes. Okay, anyway, with 6 being the most powerful, the data set below represents earthquakes that occurred around the world on November 2nd that had the magnitude of 4 or stronger. Okay. Whew, this is a lot. On the following page, create a line plot to display this data. Include all relevant labels. Okay, so I'm looking through these mixed numbers, and I'm noticing that we can simplify some of these. So let's go through and simplify these mixed numbers. I can simplify this one. So let's simplify it to 4 1/4 because I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 3. And I can do the same to this one by 8, and I get 4 1/2. Okay, let's go to 12. So we're just going to go through and make sure all these mixed numbers are simplified. Okay, how can I simplify this one? Let's do 3. If I do 3, that's going to be 4 9/12. I can simplify that one again. So let's do 3. Okay, 4 3/4. I'm simplifying fractions, bringing them to their smallest form. And don't forget, 4/16 is the same as 1/4. These are the same value. If you asked me if I wanted 1/4 of a liter of, I don't know, let's say chocolate milk. That's a lot of milk. But if you asked me if I wanted 1/4 of a liter of chocolate milk, I would say yes. And then if you asked me if I wanted 4/16, it's just cut in a there's just more pieces. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. So 4 out of 16. 2, 4. It's the same amount. There are just more pieces. We just simplified it. That's all we did. If you are still confused on simplifying fractions, please go to the comment section and look at the video that I linked to a math YouTube page that has really good animations, because my drawings weren't that good. But there's this page that has really good animation that I recommend. Okay. So now that I've simplified all of these mixed numbers, I want to put them in order. Okay, so let's go for the smallest. So let's look at the whole number first. Well, it's kind of hard for me to compare these fractions. Why? It's because they all have different denominators. I need to get these fractions with the same denominators so I can compare them evenly, because I don't know if 7/8 is bigger or smaller than 3/4. So let's convert all of these fractions to a common denominator. Let's list the denominators we have so far. So I have 8, there's 2, 4, 4, 2. Okay, so what would be a common denominator that 8, 2, and 4 can all go into? 8. 8 is going to be our common denominator. So let's manipulate all of these fractions to get them to 8. So the fraction for Pakistan, South Pacific Ocean are done. Those already have the common denominator. So let's go manipulate 4/2 to get it to 8. And remember, I'm only working with the fraction. I'm not going to manipulate the whole number. I'm only manipulating the fraction. I am manipulating these fractions so that they all have the common denominator 8. How do I get 2 to 8? I'm going to multiply it by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. Notice how I'm not multiplying the whole number. I'm only manipulating the fraction. I'm not manipulating the whole number. All right, so I've now manipulated all of these fractions so that they have the common denominator of 8. So I can now evenly compare these fractions because before it was tough. Okay, so I'm going to make a line plot. I'm going to try and make it right here so that we don't have to go from page to page. Okay, so this line plot is going to be in terms of 8. And I know that because that's our common denominator. So I'm going to start with 4. And then this can be 5. And then this will be 6. I apologize for the dog in the background. It's my roommate's dog, and he left, so I'm sorry. So this would be 4.5. But since it's in terms of 8, this is going to be 8 out of 8. 8 out of 8. So 5, 8 out of 8, which is the same as 6. And then 4, 8 out of 8, which is the same as 5. I'm trying to space them out correctly. There we go. Okay. So I know that this point right here is 8 out of 8. So this is going to be 7 out of 8, 6. There we go. So now all we got to do is put each country on the line plot. So 4 and 7 out of 8. There are 2 countries, Pakistan and the South Pacific Ocean. So let's go put, there's 2, and they were 4 and 7 out of 8. So I'm going to put 1x, 2x. Let me clean, I can make that neater. Yeah, that's prettier. I'll do the same over here, make it nice and pretty. Okay, so I put 2 countries on the line plot. Let's go for the rest. I got 4 and 4 out of 8. The next one is 5 and 6, 8. Then we had 1 over 5. Oh, I guess I have to move that. Okay, 4 and 2, 8. Five and 4, 8. 5 and 4, 8. I'm doing 2 at a time. 4 and 6, 8. Okay, so we're here where we don't have to score anymore. 4 and 6, 8. 5 and 6, 8. 5 and 4, 8. 4 and 2, 8. So which one had the most? We can see it's 4 and 2, 8. They got 3. So this is how we would make a line plot. And we could easily, now that they all have common denominators, we could easily add up all of these. Because we would add up the whole numbers, and then we would just have to add up the numerators. And of course, it's going to be an improper fraction. So you know what? I'm feeling adventurous. You want to do it? Let's do it. So let's add up the whole numbers. So I'm going to do the whole numbers in blue. So we have 4. Where's my eraser? Okay, so let's add up the blues. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4 equals 26. Okay, now let's add up the numerators. Because I know since it's a common denominator, they're not going to change. 7, 7, 4, 6, 2. 26. Okay, so now let's go down here and do the same thing. 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 equals 28 over 8. Beautiful. Now for the whole number. 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4 equals 31. So down here, now I just got to combine these two. And I only did 2 separate ones so that I didn't have to switch, keep scrolling back and forth. And that's an improper fraction, and we turn that into, so 6 times 8, that equals 48. So with a remainder of 6 over 8. So now we're going to do 57 plus 6 and 6 over 8 equals, boom, that is the total. But it didn't ask us to do that. I just did that for fun, and because that's my idea of a good time. This is why I'm a math teacher. That was fun, wasn't it? Make sure you simplify that fraction. Okay, that would be 3 over 4. Anyway, the whole purpose of this problem was to create a line plot. So good job. And make sure you study and watch more videos to get ready for the exam that is on Friday. Good job, y'all. Have a great night.